Get Peter.
Thanks, Karine. Why is the president saying that pardon?
No.
Why is the president saying that inflation is worse everywhere but here?
Because what we have seen across the globe, first of all, inflation is a global challenge, as we have said. It is caused by clearly the pandemic, this once-in-a-generation pandemic that we are coming out of, and also most recently the war that Putin started in Ukraine that has caused inflation as we look at food and as we look at gas prices. So if you look at globally other countries, and if you look at where we are economically, when you think about the Group 7, the G7, we are in a much stronger place than we are economically than the rest. And also,
I did look globally though. He says that inflation is worse everywhere but here. That's not true. U.S. has worse inflation than Germany, France, Japan, Canada, India, Italy, Saudi Arabia.
Well,
so why is he saying that?
I think what we are saying is that when you talk about inflation, it is a global thing. And it is not just about the United States. This is something that everyone is feeling because of coming out of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, because of the war that Russia has started in Ukraine.
Okay, why isn't the president asking oil companies to drill more here in the U.S.?
Let me just give you a little bit of a rundown of why we are here.
And just because I know his letter was a lot about refining and increasing refining, but that's a lot of oil that comes in from overseas. So why isn't he asking companies to drill more here in the U.S.?
Well, hold on. So here we go. So this is where we are. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of why we are here and what's going on and why we wrote the letter. So due to decreased demand at the start of the pandemic, U.S. oil refineries reduced their capacity by more than 800,000 barrels per day. Now that consumers' demand has returned thanks to the president's recovery plan, oil refineries have still not brought refinery capacity back to the pre-pandemic level. So that is the problem, and that is what we're trying to address. At the same time, Putin's invasion of Ukraine put pressure on global supply, and gas prices have gone up by nearly $2 since before the invasion. So President Biden has taken historic actions to elevate this pressure, releasing record amounts of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and relaying the world to release oil to. That's at 240 million barrels of oil that he was able to do with his partnership. And so we are now at the highest levels of domestic production. So we actually have of crude oil since April of 2020 with an additional 9,000 approved drilling permits that remain unused, but refinery capacity needs to come back too. So that is what the problem is. We need them to actually refine the crude oil, which is not happening, and that's what we're calling on oil companies to do.
Why not just drill more here in the U.S. though?
Because we don't need to do that. What we need them to do is, with the oil that's out there, we need them to refine that oil so that the capacity could go up and then prices would go down, inherently go down.
And so I know the president once said that he was going to end fossil fuel. Is that now off the table?
No, we are going to continue to move forward with our clean energy proposal, our climate change proposal.
Is that the priority? Climate change over gas prices?
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that. I'm answering the question.
Is his priority lowering gas prices or is it addressing climate change?
First of all, you can do both at the same time. What we're trying to deal with right now is how do we lower cost for American families. And one of the things that we are seeing currently right now with oil refineries is they are using this moment that there is a war in Ukraine to actually make a profit. When there are steps that they can take so that we can actually lower gas prices for families. And so the president has taken action, right? We talked about the strategic petroleum that he's done, tapping into
barrels. How much has that lowered prices?
Here's the thing, Peter. If the president had not taken the actions that he's taken in the past several months, the prices that we see now would be a lot worse. It's actually blunted some of the increase that could have been. And so the president has taken action. He has been a leader. Now he's asking Congress clearly to act in certain ways, and also asking for the oil refineries to do their part and not make money off of a time of war. That's what we're talking about here.
I don't have to say anything. I'm a doctor too.